here making a video. I'm here making a video. YouTube. This is a lovely day. Here's the thing though, is that I often feel like I don't get enough done, and then I spiral, and then I don't get anything else done. And then I think I have ADHD. I think about all the things that I have to do, and I get paralyzed. And then I do a bunch of things that don't matter. And then I do all my work at night. I actually want to stop doing that. Anyways, I'm here to talk with you today about cooking food. Not just any food, good food. Okay, we are going to be having just a little chat. I need to tell you, I really do, because I need to tell you how to incorporate cooking from scratch, home cooking, everything made from scratch. If you want to get there, and that just sounds like, holy moly, I'm never going to be able to do that because I've got kids and dogs and a job and all those things. Or if you have small children, don't worry about it. You know, that's what I would say, is eat the frozen sweet potato tater tots if you need to, and a frozen pizza. Anywho, let's sip on some coffee together and talk about making organic homemade food from scratch, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about how to even start incorporating cooking from scratch into your daily life and into your daily routine. Starting out with a couple of simple things to do, incorporating those into your routine, and then kind of going from there is the best place to start. Number one, for doing this style of cooking and changing from maybe getting takeout or frozen meals or pre-cooked meats and stuff like that, the first thing that you're going to focus on doing this week at the grocery store or this month is you are going to buy in bulk. Now, I know it's right before the holiday season. Sometimes things can be a little bit more expensive, so maybe you want to wait till right after Christmas to do this. Usually a bunch of things go on sale right after Christmas, but I think you might even still be able to find deals right now. But basically just stock up on all of the things that your family loves to eat, but in particular, stock up on meat if you can. Buy as much meat as you possibly can and shove it into your freezer. If you have to go to the grocery store every 2 days, you're not going to want to cook from scratch, and you're going to go out and you're going to buy the takeout. If you can buy food ahead of time and have it on hand, buy in bulk, keep it in your house, buy an extra freezer, put it in your basement, fill that freezer up with all of the meat from the grocery store that's on sale, or buy a quarter of a cow, or, source meat from a farmer, and then buy a bunch of butter in bulk, buy a bunch of vegetables in bulk. Maybe you buy root vegetables so they can stay fresh in your fridge for a couple of months. Stock up on flour, on quality sweeteners like honey and maple syrup. Just make sure that your pantry is fully stocked. Just all those basic things where if you have those on hand, you can throw a meal together super quick. My second piece of advice, and this is probably a little bit harder to put into words, to cook intuitively rather than following really complex recipes. At first, I don't think, unless you just are naturally gifted at this, I think this is going to take time to learn. Just go on Pinterest and research a bunch of different recipes. Look up, a bunch of different recipes for chicken. I like to research recipes for a few ingredients that I have on hand. So if I have butternut squash and I have chicken, I'll look up butternut squash chicken recipes. I love seeing stuffed squash recipes. That was very difficult for me to say. I see them all over. All of them call for different things. A lot of them have peppers. A lot of them have cheese. A lot of them have rice in them. I saw those, and then I knew that I had squash. I had cauliflower rice. I had cooked venison. I had pesto. I had olive packed tomatoes. And I also had sauerkraut. So what I decided to do is I just made my own stuffed squash recipe. I knew that I needed to cook the squash and have the squash be edible. So I just cut it in half, had that cook in the oven, and then I mixed up the cauliflower rice, the venison, the pesto, the tomatoes, kind of mixed it all together, and I just made my own combination. I seasoned it as I thought, you know, I seasoned it as I liked. And then I just scooped that up into the squash. I didn't do cheese because I didn't have any cheese, and I ate it like that, and it was delicious. It was a super nutritious meal. And then I put some sauerkraut on the side. I made my own homemade sauerkraut coleslaw. It was delicious, and I didn't follow a recipe. It took me a lot less time than if I was following a recipe from, you know, the beginning to the end. So don't be afraid to use recipes, but maybe as you're starting to use them, just be thinking in your head about what you have in your house and how you can make some alterations to some recipes that you have. I think it's a little overwhelming when you see these huge, long recipes, and then you're like, how am I gonna cook that every night? That's gonna take me 2 hours. So this is where you can start to learn to cook intuitively, pay attention to the ingredients that you have at home, and start to kind of create little easy dishes that don't need a lot of measuring. They don't need a ton of preparation. You can just do easy meals like that. Another example would be if you had chicken and Brussels sprouts and potatoes. You could think in your head, okay, I've seen a lot of bowls online on Pinterest, and they look really good. They usually have other things, but this is what I have, so I'm gonna make my own bowl. I'm going to chop up the potatoes and the Brussels sprouts and the chicken. I'm gonna cook it and roast it in a pan, and then I'm gonna make my own bowl out of it, and maybe I'm gonna look up a tahini dressing, and I'm gonna put that on top. So anyways, it just helps you to be creative instead of going out and purchasing stuff for meal prepping, because that often is more expensive and takes more time and energy. You can just buy what's on sale and then intuitively cook what you have on hand. And then what you're gonna do, the third step you're gonna do is every Sunday, you're gonna think about just the first half of the week. Just think about the next, 3-ish days, 3 to 4 days, and you're gonna thaw out enough meat for those 3-ish days. And then you're going to plan what you're going to make. I like to do this and pull out meat ahead of time so that, when I'm coming home from work, like if I am out for a photo shoot or something, I don't have to try to thaw meat out really quick and try to make dinner. That always takes longer. And if I have thawed meat out in the fridge, it's just a super quick dinner. And I can try to make larger portions of meals so that the leftovers last me a few days. That really helps when you're making things like home cooked all the time. Some of those ideas for larger meals that will feed your family for a longer time are things like a pot roast. You can make pot roast with carrots, potatoes, onions, and sweet potatoes, and put a ton of garlic in there. Boom, you have a great meal. Slow roasted pulled pork with apples, onions, and a little bit of barbecue sauce. You can even serve with some sheet pan potatoes and cabbage with that. Beef stew, always a go-to, great one in the wintertime. Sausage and kale soup. Soups are a great place to start out if you're just starting to make from scratch meals. They're super easy, and if you have a crock pot or slow cooker, they're perfect meal to prep in the morning, have in the evening, and then have a bunch of leftovers. And then you could do really any version of large batch sheet pan meals. Some sort of meat, some sort of starch, and some sort of veggie. Always some sort of really good sauce to go on top. You're eating high quality food from scratch. You know that there's no canola or seed oils in what you're making, and you're gonna feel really good about it. And this is the perfect place to start. Just start to do those things. Maybe your goal is to make 1 homemade meal a week. That's great. Maybe it's to make 2. Maybe it's to not eat out or buy any frozen meals at all. Whatever it is for you, start off small, don't overwhelm yourself, and just give it a try. So thank you for listening. I'm so excited to be making videos again. It took a little bit of a hiatus. I run a photography business, and it gets so busy sometimes, but I really am trying to make this a priority to post a video every single week. So if you have suggestions or ideas on what you want to see, please let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you very soon. All right. That was a super weird ending. Talk to you soon. Except I'm talking to you, but you're not going to talk to me. I'll see you soon. You'll see me soon. I don't know.